Hey Phil, welcome to the Community Living Golf Tournament. Just want to give you an opportunity here to view your swing at regular speed. We'll let that play on through a few times for you. Put you back in your dress position, and then we'll go ahead and take a look at a few things. So while we got you back here in your setup, your posture looks good. Spine is straight on a slight tilt. Legs come down, nicely unlocked position. Arms hang down nice and naturally in front of you. Club works out to the ball. So really good posture, also in association with good balance, not too far on your toes or your heels. So it looks great. Next thing we want to observe is your alignment. Now your feet are going considerably out to the left. So we carry that out towards the fairway, and theoretically your club face is supposed to run parallel to your feet. Parallel lines on camera have an appearance of converging. So very clearly put. I mean, we're set up to hit the golf ball way out to the left. Now you're probably used to seeing your ball start somewhere out there, and then you impart a lot of left to right spin on the ball, and you hit a pretty drastic sort of slicing kind of action where the ball has the ability to hopefully find the intended target, which is sort of back out in this direction. And we'll get a sense of that here in just a few minutes. Let's go ahead and do a little split screen comparison here between you and Brandt Snedeker. Now we got some color-coded lines on the screen just as a visual reference as it pertains to swing plane. So we can see the postures are similar, the balance is similar, but look at where his feet are going, completely different direction. So as he initiates his takeaway, creates good shoulder rotation, draws the arms and hands back as well as the club. And we got the club coming back directly on plane along the red line. At this point in time, we want to start to establish some good wrist hinge into play, and whereby we're going to transition the club from being below to above the hands. And at this point in time, we're going to work the club from red up to yellow. When we finally set the golf club at the top of the backswing, and the left arm and the club are on the yellow line, we have full shoulder rotation, and we do this about a very stable right leg, keeping the weight on the inside part of our right foot. If we go ahead and watch you initiate your takeaway, I'm just going to make mention that typically people who set up this open, the hands, arms, and club go outside of the swing plane. Now ironically for you, you do create fantastic rotation, and you draw your hands and arms around, and you're actually bringing the club back on a decent swing plane relative to where we want to hit the ball. So it looks really good. We get some wrist hinge into play, still looks fantastic. Let's take this to the top. At this point in time, you keep your arms working into a really shallow position. So your left arm is basically laying right across your chest, right arm's congested to your rib cage, right elbow stays very low, and that's why you set your arms very shallow. You have good turn, you do it about a very stable right side, but ideally we would like to get this arm unit in a much more upright position so that your right elbow is higher, and that would allow your left arm to obviously get situated on the yellow line. At this point in time, as we create a transition back into the ball, we simply want to move our weight from our right foot to our left, fire our knees and our hips to the target, unwind the core, and bring the golf club from yellow back down on top of red. And that's exactly what we see here with Brandt Snedeker. We see that the golf club has returned right back onto plane. The other thing we want to point out or observe is the relationship between the lead forearm and the golf club. Refer to this as the backwards check mark. Simply means that the club head right now is remaining above and behind his hands, and therefore he's retaining angle and going to create a lot of power in the golf swing, let alone be able to hit the ball straight because the club has returned back to plane. Very important. As we go ahead and watch your transition back into the ball, you drop your hands and arms, so that's a good solid move right there. We continue to track in, and right about there you start to throw the club out in front of you. So at this point in time, I mean, we could look at this and say, hey, you know what, between my lead forearm and the club, we have my backwards check mark. The club head's above and behind my hands, so creating some power in your golf swing is not going to be an issue. But what we do see is the club is not returning back to plane, and we also see that the club shaft is coming into the ball too steep. So a club shaft at this point in time is coming into the ball at 49 degrees when the club shaft should be angled over here maybe at about 35, And we can see that that would resemble a lot more what we see with Brandt Snedeker at 36. So as we continue to track the club coming into the ball, we know you have an over-the-top move. It's causing the club to come in too steep. And ultimately what's going to happen is your golf club is not going to track into the ball from this red line, from on plane. And again, this is what allows us to hit a straight golf shot in accordance to our alignment. So your club head's here, it's going to fall, well, you're fighting to keep that back, so that's pretty decent right there, but it still hasn't fallen to the red line, and it still doesn't fall to the red line. Okay? So if we just sort of connect the dots here, this is how your club was tracking into the ball. It's tracking into the ball too steep, and therefore it's going to be attacking the ball a little bit from outside to inside. So at this point in time, we can take a look at the path of the club. We can basically see with Snedeker, his club is slightly inside the ball. It expands out to make contact. It moves through on a nice natural subtle arc. Okay? So again, he's going to hit the ball straight in accordance to his aim, assuming club face squares up via having a good grip. With you, your club is stuck outside the ball. The club drops down and across to make contact. So very simply put, your club is moving on a pretty aggressive path from out to in. If we square the club face up to that swing path, very simply put, we're going to hit the ball in that direction. And again, that direction is the same direction as where you're aimed. Hopefully at that point in time, you leave the club face open, and again, we impart some left-right spin, and hopefully we can slice the ball on line. In this particular swing, if we carry it through, let's just pay attention to the ball. So we do see the ball headed out in this direction. So it definitely is heading way further right than where you're aimed. The ball is going to get out here somewhere. It is going to have left to right spin, and then we just don't know how much it's going to fade or slice to the right depending on how open that club face was. Okay? Does require a lot of timing to be consistent. For sure, if you over-release the club, we would not only see the ball start left, but then it would go further left and you'd hit a pull draws. So obviously with this out to in pass, swing the club along the yellow arrow, your subconscious brain is certainly telling you not to square the face up, because if you did, it's going to follow red and then follow green, and you're just never going to find the center of the fairway. So you're always trying to leave that club face open. When you do that, it's considered to be a glancing blow. When we're swinging that golf club from outside to inside, leaving the face open, it's just going to be a glancing blow, and then obviously there's going to be a lot of fading and slicing action. The other thing we can see here as you move through, you want to learn how to create a little bit better footwork. You want to get up off your right heel, up onto your right toe, and learn how to keep your weight on your left side. Looks like you're really throwing your head up and out sort of this way, causing your spine to create a reverse angle than it was at address. So if we go back down to the address, you can see that your spinal position was here. So you're basically throwing yourself up and out of the shot due to the fact that we're aggressively swinging from out to in, and this is causing you to lose your balance. So if we pay attention to Snedeker, his right heel comes off the ground, he gets up on the toe of his right foot, weight finishes on the left side, he maintains the spinal tilt that he started with. He might come up a little bit, but he still has this angle, and therefore he's not falling over in this direction. Okay? Anyways, you've got a lot of great athleticism in your golf swing. I like how your hands work. Your hands come back, they fire through. It's awesome. Your core works well. You coil back, you uncoil through. You've got decent enough footwork that you can get through to a finish, but unfortunately you lose your balance. So you got to work on maintaining your spinal tilt through to the finish so you don't fall over and away from the ball. And then ultimately, if you want to hit straight shots and be consistent, there's three things we need. We have to aim well, we got to bring the club down on plane, and we have to square the face up. So in your case, you know, again, we know you're aiming way left, you're attacking the ball from out to in, and then you're leaving the face open. So unfortunately, we don't have any of the three criteria required in order to hit consistent straight golf shots. Okay? Anyways, if at any point in time you want to work on any of these aspects of your golf swing, certainly feel free to reach out. All my contact information is at the end of this analysis, and I'm over at Glen Abbey in Oakville. Also, if you're involved with any golf tournaments at all, or sit in the committee for any events, and you're looking to provide your guests with a unique service, we can certainly discuss my swing analysis services for golf tournaments. Anyways, I hope you had a great day. Hope you enjoyed getting an opportunity to see your swing on video. Hope you have a great summer, and maybe we might hear from you. Take care.